Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is. Whoa, what just. Why is it doing this to me? We just started this live and it's already messing up. There we go. I don't know what happened there, but hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is January 31st, 2025, and Ibrahim Diarra has debuted. So that's definitely good news. An unexpected debut, by the way. Also, Benfica have joined the list of clubs interested in Ansu Fati. And finally, Manchester City have opened talks to sign Nico Gonzalez. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. This is the Barca News live podcast, which is on every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where we discuss Barcelona news, but where I also get to interact with you lovely people in the chat section by reading your comments, answering your questions, and getting that discussion going. For those of you who will be watching when the podcast ends, I will be putting timestamps in the description and chapters in the timeline in case you do want to skip through all the discussion and get straight to the news. Having said all of that, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. If you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure to Goal Kids, Get Back, or Fanatics. If you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure to bet us. All links are down below in the description. All right, let's begin with the news. And as always, the first segment of news is several bits of news combined together, is starting with the confirmation of a news that I brought to you. I think this was 2 weeks ago, but Gabi has officially extended his contract with Barcelona. Now, Gabi's contract was set to expire in 2026. Of course, Barcelona were looking to extend it because they consider him an incredibly important player, a cornerstone of Hansi Flick's project and of Barcelona's project. And while today Barcelona made it official that Gabi has extended his contract till 2030, one day after they made official the contract renewal of Pedri, who also extended his contract till 2030. And I think it was, like a week after Ronald Araujo, or maybe 3 days after Ronald Araujo also extended his contract, but with the Uruguayan captain extending it until 2031, if I'm not mistaken. Now, this is definitely good news. Of course, this was not a difficult renewal. Gabi always wanted to stay. He made it very clear he wanted to stay. Barcelona wanted to keep him, so it was just a matter of reaching an agreement in regards to like salary, things like that. So now this agreement being made official. Gabi signed his contract today in a ceremony at the Barcelona offices. And of course, the pictures afterwards, which you're seeing one of those pictures. Now, it's expected that tomorrow, Iñigo Martinez's contract renewal will be made official. Another thing I brought to you, I think it was last week. As you know, Iñigo Martinez's contract expires at the end of the season, summer of 2025. He does have a clause in his contract that would automatically renew his contract by one more season if he plays 45 minutes for at least 60% of all matches. But Barcelona don't want to wait until that happens. They're very, very happy with Iñigo, so they want to extend it to 2026, so by one more season officially without having to wait for that clause to be triggered. And it's expected that Iñigo's contract will be made official tomorrow. Who, by the way, Iñigo Martinez could be included in a squad list for tomorrow because, as I told you in yesterday's video, he's actually recovering much faster than initially anticipated. Now, more news because today there was a new face in training as the team prepares themselves for the weekend match against Alaves, and that face was Iker Rodriguez. If you don't know who Iker Rodriguez is, he's a 16-year-old goalkeeper currently in Barcelona's academy, and it's reported that Hansi Flick personally requested that Iker Rodriguez train with the first team today because alongside Diego Cochen, which we've talked a lot about in this channel, but the two are the two most promising goalkeepers in the entire academy. Barcelona think that between Diego Cochen and Iker Rodriguez, those will be the future goalkeepers of Barcelona. So Hansi Flick personally requesting that Iker Rodriguez train with the first team today because he wants to keep a close eye on the development of the 16-year-old. My God, these players are getting younger and younger. 16 years old, and he's already training with the first team. I mean, what were you guys doing at 16? I know I wasn't doing anything. I was going to high school, playing football for my high school team, and that was about it. Playing video games, messing around with my friends. 16 years old, training with the first team. Amazing, amazing accomplishment. And this is, by the way, this is not normal. Let's not normalize these very young kids training with the first team or even playing for the first team. This is, very extraordinary, and it only happens in a place like Barcelona because we have undoubtedly the best academy, footballing academy in the entire world. And I have to be specific, football academy, because we know Real Madrid has the best academy in acting. Anyways, the last bit of news of this segment is that Ibrahim Diarra officially debuted. It was an unexpected debut. As you know, Barcelona reached an agreement to sign Diarra back in the summer. However, he wasn't 18 years old yet, so he couldn't make his transfer official. In December, he turned 18, so Barcelona officially signed him, making that announcement. And then he only landed in Barcelona as an officially registered player. I think it was about 2 weeks ago, because, of course, his paperwork had to be processed. Since he was coming from Africa, you have to do his immigration paperwork, his work permit, etc., etc. So he hasn't really trained that much with the team. So his debut was completely unexpected. It was expected that his debut would take a little bit longer since he just arrived in Barcelona. But nonetheless, that's how much Barcelona are betting on this youngster, one of the most exciting talents to come out of the African continent. And Ibrahim Diarra debuted with the Juvenil A in the Copa del Rey, the Youth Copa del Rey round of 16, where Juvenil A, or the under-19 team, played against Dam. I think that's how you pronounce it, Damm. But Juvenil A faced Dam in the round of 16 of the Copa del Rey. They ended up drawing 1-1. They went to penalties. Barca, Juvenil A won, but Ibrahim Diarra making his debut. I think he played approximately 45 minutes, where he showed, flashes of his brilliance. Of course, he's still out of form. He's not 100% in form because, as you know, Ibrahim Diarra just came back from a long injury. He had a serious injury to his knee, so he was still not at 100%. But nonetheless, he still showed us flashes of brilliance here and there. And I have to say, I'm very, very excited to see what Ibrahim Diarra will do. Anyways, that is all for the first segment of this podcast. Let's do some comments, and then we will talk about Benfica being interested in Ansu Fati. And we have Besuficat says, "Hello Mo, how you doing? I really love your consistency about bringing us news and giving us your honest opinions. Thanks all the way from Ethiopia." Wow, all the way from Ethiopia. Thank you, my friend, for your comment and for watching. Shout out to all my brothers and sisters out in Ethiopia. And Bank says, "Hi Mo, I'm able to catch your live from South Africa." All right, welcome, my friend, welcome. Thank you for watching the live, and thank you for your comment. And David Blandon says, "Ansu is doing his career and legacy an injustice by refusing to leave." 100% I agree. I mean, we forget that Ansu's only 22. I think, we've been talking about Ansu so long because he debuted at 18, 17. So it seems like he's older, but he's not. He's 22 years old. He's very, very young. At that age, you need to be playing. You need to be getting minutes so you can continue growing, developing. And, he's not. And it sucks because he knows he's not going to get minutes. It's not like, oh, well, maybe if I train harder, oh, maybe if I work. No. Like Flick already told him, look, man, I don't count on you. You don't have what it takes to succeed under my system. And yeah, he's still insisting to leave, which is crazy to me because, like I said, at that age, you need to be playing. And also, a football career is very, very short. Like, you only play 10, maybe 15 years. And if you spend, a whole year on the bench, that's like 10% of your career that you're not playing. You're throwing away precious years that you have to play. So definitely a shame. So I agree with you 100%. And let's see. Sismically says, PSG fan here, not looking forward to playing you in the Champions League this year. You guys are scary. Hopefully we will get another Dembele masterclass. Yeah, we'll see. By the way, I totally forgot to discuss this, but I guess since you did bring it up, the draw was today. Was going to, let me see if I can pull this up from the page of UEFA, since I did forget to mention it. But okay, there's a lot of exciting matches, by the way, after the draw. A lot of exciting matches. Let me see it. UEFA's website sucks, by the way. I don't know who is their company, but all right, let's see. Let me share my screen because I was happy with the draw. There was some really good So let's see. We have Brest versus PSG, two French teams facing each other. This is all playoffs. Club Brugge versus Atalanta. Man City versus Real Madrid. I think that's a really exciting one. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's going to be a good match. Hopefully, Man City send Madrid packing, even though, of course, Man City are not going through their best of form, but neither is Madrid, right? Juventus PSV, that could end up being an interesting game, even though I think it would, like, normally it wouldn't be because Juventus would be the stronger team, but Juventus, I think this season they're probably at the level of PSV, so I think that would be a good match. Benfica Monaco, I think that might be an interesting match too. Sporting CP and Dortmund, that's definitely going to be a good match. Bayern Munich getting Celtic, that's a pretty easy match for the Germans. And then Feyenoord versus AC Milan. So some really exciting matches there. That's, of course, all the playoffs. Out of these, 16 teams, only 8 will advance to the round of 16 to face the other 8 teams that are already qualified. And again, this is a big, huge plus for Barcelona because they're not going to have to play these matches. Remember, these matches are going to be played twice, right? Once at home and once away. So that's 2 matches that Barcelona are not going to have to play thanks to their incredible run in the group stages. They're going to be able to, make it directly. Well, they already qualified directly into the round of 16. So 2 weeks for Barcelona will get rest. So that's definitely good news. But let's get back to the next bit of news because we do have to talk about Ansu Fati, because, ladies and gentlemen, Benfica are the latest club to join the race for the academy graduate. Now, I think it was 2 days ago or maybe even yesterday, Ajax expressed their interest in taking Ansu Fati on loan. There's other clubs, of course, like Besiktas, Sevilla, Real Betis. Plenty of clubs interested in Ansu Fati on loan until the end of the season. And now the latest one to join that list is Benfica, who are looking to, reinforce their attacking options. And they are looking to take Ansu Fati on loan until the remainder of the season. Now, of course, this is Barcelona. This is something that Barcelona want to happen, not necessarily Benfica, but to any club, because Ansu Fati is not getting the minutes at Barcelona. He's not going to get the minutes at Barcelona. Hansi Flick already had a very honest conversation with the player where he told him, hey, look, I don't see it. You're not ready. I don't count on you. If you want minutes, you're going to have to leave. So he's not going to be getting the minutes. So Barcelona would like to offload him, whether it's on loan, permanent transfer, so he can go get minutes somewhere else. Plus, he does have one of the highest salaries on the squad. Ansu Fati earns around 11 million euros net, which is incredibly high for a player that is just on the bench, right? This is already a high salary for someone who starts. But imagine for someone who's on the bench all the time, who he's even been excluded out of matches. So Barcelona want to offload Ansu Fati so he can get minutes, and then so they can at least get rid of part of his salary. Barcelona are requesting a minimum of half. So whatever team takes them, they have to cover at least half of his salary. So Barcelona can, clear that off their wage bill. And of course, there's the whole Rashford situation, right? Barcelona need to offload someone in order to bring Rashford. Barcelona want Rashford. Flick has green-lit the operation. Rashford is waiting for Barcelona. He wants to come to Barcelona. He's even willing to reduce his salary. The agreement is all in place. Everything's good to go. The only thing is Barcelona need to offload someone. They were hoping it would be Ansu Fati, but despite Benfica's interested, it looks like Ansu Fati is still insisting in staying at Barcelona. Again, despite Flick telling him he's not going to get minutes, despite his own entourage, his own family are telling him, dude, just leave, go get minutes somewhere else. And despite all of that, Ansu Fati is digging his heels in the ground and is insisting on staying, which of course is, it sucks for him because he's not going to be getting minutes, but it also sucks for Barcelona because now they're stuck paying this incredibly high salary for someone who's not playing. And of course, they cannot bring Marcus Rashford, someone who Barcelona would like to reinforce the left wing position / the center forward, because Flick apparently also would like to see Rashford play as a striker. So that's the news. Benfica after Ansu, which honestly, about Ansu, I would jump on that opportunity. I mean, we're talking about Benfica. I understand when Saudi clubs were interested in Ansu, he's like, no, I don't want to go to Saudi. I get it. Maybe Besiktas. Okay, fine. It's Turkey. The league is not that good. But dude, we're talking about Benfica, like an incredibly strong team in a good league, the Portuguese league. Like, dude, this is a great opportunity for you to go and get minutes and keep growing and developing. And like, what are you doing? Like, I don't even think Ansu Fati is at the level right now of being able to play at Benfica. So the fact that Benfica is even interested in him he should jump on that opportunity. But I don't know what's going through Ansu Fati's head. I mean, I don't know if it's stubbornness, thinking that he is going to make it back into the team, or maybe he's just happy and content with making the 11 million euros net salary despite not doing anything. I don't know, but it's not looking good. All right, let's do the comment section, and then we will talk about Nico Gonzalez. Nico Gonzalez, definitely fresh news off the press there. Let's see. Not a fun guy says, oh, and when will be the next draws? If you talk about the Champions League, it happened today. Shane says, sorry to tell you, bro, but it's not going to have any masterclass. Maybe 3 months. Barca knows. Oh, you're talking about Dembele? Yeah, I mean, it is kind of like spotting a unicorn. Like Dembele will give you a masterclass once every, I don't know, every leap year, once every blue moon. Yeah. Anyways, Richard says Ansu has no dignity. The coach has been very clear. He won't play. Yeah, he seems content to stay and just collect his money while he's still young. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I mean, if it is just because he wants to stay and collect money, I think that's pretty sad, right? Because, dude, like, you worked so hard your whole life since you were 4 or 5 years old to become a professional football player. You become a professional football player and you don't want to play. Like, then what was all that work for? What was all that sacrifice for, right? Because you don't get to become a professional athlete unless you sacrifice, right? Working hard, sacrificing time to be playing with your friends, playing video games, sacrificing sleep, you sacrifice a lot to get to that point. And then you get to that point and you're just like, I'm just going to chill. Who cares? I'm going to sit in the stands. Like, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? Sean says, Dembele disrespected this club too much. Barca will be motivated by this and also revenge for the last time we were knocked out by PSG against a run-off play. Red card changed the tie. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it was a very mentally weak team. There was no reason for us to be knocked out despite the red card. I mean, sure, that red card came early, but we were already, what was it, like we were up by 4 goals or something like that, or 3 goals. Like, there was no reason. But unfortunately, the team fell apart. Xabi got himself expelled, like when the team needed him the most, so he could be the leader and calm everybody down and come up with a plan on how to contain PSG and just hold off for the rest of the match, because that's all they needed to do was just hold off. And unfortunately, just completely fell apart. That's why I was very happy when we beat Benfica 4-5, even though I thought it was a terrible performance. I was happy because I was like, if this was last season, Barcelona would have fell apart at the first goal, let alone at the penalty and at the Chesney mistake and at the Araujo own goal. And, there's no way that Barca from last season would have mounted such a comeback. Solution says, hello, Mo. How are you? Any advice of the best streaming app? I'm trying to start my channel again. Okay. That's awesome. I'm using StreamYard. I'm not a big fan because it gives me a lot of problems. But unfortunately, when I signed up, I paid the entire year because you get a big discount if you sign up for the whole year. So for now, I'm stuck with them. After my contract expires with them, I'll find out what other apps out there. But one of the really good ones is OBS. OBS Studio, completely free. You have so many options. The only thing is not very user-friendly. Like, it's hard to figure out on your own, but that's what YouTube is for, right? If you want to just YouTube how to use OBS, if you want to do something special, just YouTube how to do whatever on OBS, and then you can figure it out. I use OBS to record my videos. I don't use it for streaming, again, because I have StreamYard already. But I might just be eventually use OBS for both. But I use OBS Studio for filming my videos, and it's an incredible tool. And again, completely free. And all right, we have our donation, first donation of the night. Richard, who says, easily one of the dopest Barca channels. Thank you, bro. Biscarsa. No, thank you, my friend. Thank you so much for watching, for your comment, for your incredible generosity with this donation. Again, it's thanks to you guys that this channel exists. It's thanks to you guys that, I get to do this, because otherwise, without you guys, like I always say, I'll be just a crazy guy screaming at his camera. All right, let's get back to the news. Because as we were talking, Ansu Fati is still not looking to. Why does see what I mean about StreamYard? Like, what the hell is going on right here? My God. But anyways, like I was saying, like we were talking about a few moments ago, Ansu Fati is not looking like he's going to leave, despite Benfica, Ajax, and the long list of clubs being interested in him. And that, of course, has caused problems for Barcelona as far as Marcus Rashford, who Barcelona are looking to sign. He's still waiting He's literally just sitting in England waiting for Barcelona to make a call. He's put all negotiations on pause, including AC Milan and Dortmund. He's rejected, of course, Saudi clubs, so he's waiting for Barcelona's call. He wants to come to Barcelona, prioritizes coming to Barcelona. Barcelona want him, but of course, without offloading anyone, Barcelona cannot make this happen, despite even Rashford agreeing to reducing his salary. Now, this is where enter Manchester City, because Manchester City could be the key to unlocking the transfer of Marcus Rashford to Barcelona on loan for the remainder of the season. And that's because Manchester City have open talks for the signing of Nico Gonzalez, the former Barcelona player, former Barcelona Academy graduate, who unfortunately did not really seem to fit in the first team, especially because barely his mind wasn't in it. When he was in Barcelona, there was a lot of news about him loving the nightlife a lot, so he wasn't too focused. So as such, he never really was able to impress Xabi or even Koeman, I think, if I remember correctly. So he ended up leaving to Porto. Barcelona offloaded him to Porto, and then Barcelona, of course, reserved 40% of the rights in the player. Now, why is this important? This is important because Manchester City are now interested in signing Nico Gonzalez. And this news just came out today because, as you know, Manchester City are in a desperate need for a defensive midfielder after why am I blanking on his name? Rodri. Jesus. After Rodri tore his ACL, of course, Rodri's going to miss the entire season. So Manchester City are in desperate need for a defensive midfielder, and they have set their sights on Nico Gonzalez, and it's reported that they have already contacted Porto to sign Nico Gonzalez during this winter transfer market, and they're willing to pay 60 million euros for the player. So since I just mentioned that Barcelona own 40% of the rights of the player, that would mean 24 million euros for Barcelona. So Manchester City go through this signing. They pay the 60 million. Barcelona get 24, and that 24 million could be key to unlock the Marcus Rashford signing. Now, this comes at the back of the news earlier today where Barcelona were ready to pull the plug on a Marcus Rashford. As I mentioned, Marcus Rashford is literally just waiting for Barcelona's call, so they can tell him, okay, we're coming for you, or never mind, look for another team. And Barcelona were ready to make that call. They were ready to call Rashford and say, hey, guy, sorry, but Ansu doesn't want to leave. Eric is staying because Flick wants him to stay. There's nobody to offload. So sorry, buddy, look for another team. And as Barcelona were getting ready to pull the plug, boom, the bombshell news that Manchester City have open talks with Porto to sign Nico. So now we're going to see if this move materializes, and if it does, whether Barcelona will still pull the plug on Marcus Rashford, or whether end up saying, 24 million sounds good, let's go buy hookers and cocaine. I don't know. But that's the news. Manchester City and Nico Gonzalez could be the key to unlocking Rashford's move to Barcelona on loan until the end of the season. All right, let's do more comments, and then we will talk about Pablo Torre. All right, let's see. Where do we leave off? John Williams says, hey, Mo, how are you doing? Ansu such a goat head. He should be kicked in the ass to leave Barca. Here's the thing. Barcelona want him out, obviously. Flick already had a conversation with him. I said, look, man, you're not going to get minutes here. Just go somewhere else. But having said that, Barcelona are not going to force him out because he's an academy kid. He spent his whole life in Barcelona. So Barcelona are not going to do him dirty like that. They've already made it clear to him that Flick doesn't count on him. Now it's up to him whether he leaves or not. Barcelona are not going to force him out. And I think that's the right thing because, you cannot treat your academy player like that, someone who's been there since he was a little kid, who grew up in the academy, spent his whole life in the academy, someone you gave him the 10 because, he was showing like he could be the next thing, big thing. So, but anyway, so nobody's kicking in the butt. Nobody's getting kicked in the butt. All right, let's see. Abdul says, hi, Mo. Any updates on the issues between Iñaki and Flick? It seems to be really serious. I would really him back on the field. I don't know. I really don't know. This is not, Flick keeps things really tight on the locker room. Of course, he first missed the semifinal of the Spanish Super Cup, but that's because he showed up late, and Flick is very strict about tardiness and about the rules and enforcing the rules. But after that, you were like, okay, he showed up late. He missed the semi. Okay, final. Again, Chesney, you're like, okay, maybe it has to do with the same thing. Okay, fine. But then, boom, La Liga, still Chesney. Boom, Champions League, still Chesney. Boom, La Liga again, still Chesney. Now you're like, okay, wait a minute. This is more than just tardiness. What I think happened is, I think Flick always wanted Chesney as the number one. But of course, he couldn't just throw him in there because Chesney had retired. He hadn't played in months. So I think he was just bidding his time, having Iñaki play while Chesney in the background was, getting back into competitive form, competitive rhythm. I think that's what it is, because he's probably betting more on Chesney's experience. But with all those mistakes, yeah, I would go back to Iñaki too. But I'm not the coach. Hansi knows best, and if he thinks Chesney's better, then I guess he's better, even though, again, I would prefer to be Iñaki Williams. All right, Julia says, hey, Mo, what are the repercussions if Barcelona just terminates Ansu contract? Especially we are set to receive some funds from Nico to Man City. Okay, pretty easy. When you terminate any contract unilaterally, you have to pay out the entire contract. So, for example, let's do the math, right? Ansu Fati has 2.5 years left on his contract. You would have to pay him his salary for the 2.5 years left. Ansu Fati earns approximately 11 million net, so that's 22 million gross. So that's 2.5 years of that. What is that? 44 mil plus 11, 43, 53 mil. So they would have to pay Ansu Fati 53 million euros in salary all at once. If the contract has any kind of bonuses or, add-ons or anything like that, they would have to pay all of them at once. Plus, you might have to pay a penalty too. Some contracts have a penalty to break them. So, I don't know, 100 million maybe to make it go away. Maybe you negotiate it down, but you cannot just break a contract. And, this is something common. I always see people like, just terminate his contract. Yeah, it's not that easy. That's why contracts exist, to protect the player and to protect the club. That way, the club is not just like, yeah, we signed you for 5 years, bye, and then they just kick you out. And the same thing for the club. That way they don't sign a player, and then the player's like, all right, I'm leaving. And you're like, wait a minute, you have a contract. No, bye. So you cannot just break contracts. There's repercussions, and they're pretty heavy repercussions. All right, let's get back to the news. Let's do the last bit of news because we do have to talk about Pablo Torre, because Bournemouth out of the Premier League. By the way, Bournemouth are having a pretty good season in the Premier today. I don't really watch the Premier regularly. I'll watch highlights here and there. Maybe I'll catch a match here and there. I'll watch sometimes the news about the Premier, but they're actually pretty entertaining to watch from the little bit of highlights I've seen here and there. And I think I caught like 20 minutes the other day of a match. I can't even remember who they were playing, but Bournemouth are having a decent season actually. And now they have set their sights on Pablo Torre. And in fact, they have already reached out to Barcelona to ask whether they can have Pablo Torre on loan until the end of the season, with an option to buy in case Pablo Torre ends up, impressing them. They can have that option to buy him at the end of the season in the summer transfer market. Now, of course, nothing's going to come out of this offer because Pablo Torre, he wants to stay in Barcelona. He's made it clear to the club that he wants to stay until the end of the season. He wants to, keep training, keep fighting for his spot, see if he can get more minutes, because so far he's only had like 300 plus minutes. So not many minutes. And of course, Hansi Flick is happy with Pablo Torre staying. Hansi Flick is not looking to get rid of him. He considers him a really good option as far as midfielders. He's a different profile than the other midfielders that we have. So Pablo Torre wants to stay until the end of the season. Flick is happy with him staying. So Pablo Torre is not going anywhere during this winter transfer market. So unfortunately for Bournemouth, but fortunately for us, Pablo Torre will be staying at the club. By the way, 4 goals in 300 and something minutes. It's not bad numbers for someone who's played only a few minutes here and there. It's a shame we don't get to see him more, Pablo Torre, but at the same time, when you have Dani Olmo, Marc Casado, Pedri, Gabi, Frankie, Fermin, it's hard. It's very, very difficult. You're talking about 3 spots, and you have 7 players for those 3 spots. And, I think Pablo Torre is a very talented midfielder, but he's definitely not ahead of Dani or Casado or Pedri or Gabi. or even Fermin. Also, people say, oh, Pablo Torre should be playing ahead of Fermin. I don't think so. Did you guys see Fermin's match against Valencia? Total masterclass. 2 goals, 2 assists. He was the brains of the operation. Did you see Fermin against Benfica? He was part of the reason why we were able to mount that comeback. So I don't think Pablo Torre is ahead of any of those players. Again, not to say that Pablo Torre is bad. I think he's a really good, interesting option. I think he's a really good midfielder. But when you have better midfielders ahead of you, it's just going to be difficult to get minutes. But that's the news. He's staying until the end of the season. So doesn't look like Bournemouth will be taking this guy away anytime soon. All right, let's get back to the chat section. Julio says, oh, wait, I already read that. Joel says, it would be a shame to lose Pablo Torre, especially since we can't rely on Dani Olmo. We temporarily registered. Like I said, he's not leaving. He's not looking to leave. He's looking to stay until the end of the season. He'll explore his options again in the summer, which I think, it's the right move for him. Wait until the end of the season. Let's see what happens. Maybe you can get more minutes. Maybe you impress Flick ahead of, I don't know, maybe Olmo since he keeps getting injured. So yeah, we'll see. Azam FC News says, Mo, it's my first time here. I really enjoy it all the way from, what's TZ? Tanzania? Was it supposed to be a flag and StreamYard is just showing me the letters? I don't know. See, I don't trust StreamYard. So don't get StreamYard, please. But thank you, my friend. Thank you for commenting and thank you for watching. And CXNE says, hi, Mo. What is your opinion on Rashford? Can Flick bring the best of him? I think we need a wild card for the second half of the season. That's a tough question because Marcus Rashford at 100% is one of the most lethal attackers in Europe. Speed, dribbling, goal scoring. I mean, he's an incredible player when he's performing at 100%. But that's the problem, right? He's like not consistent. But when he gives you masterclass, when he gives his best, it's masterclasses. But when he's not, he's not even on the field. So that's the problem, is the inconsistency. Would I sign him on a permanent transfer? No, just because of that, because he's inconsistent. He's had a lot of problems with his coaches, with his teammates. So you don't want that kind of player, and you definitely don't want to be paying the money that Manchester United will ask for a permanent transfer for that kind of player. But on a 6-month loan, no transfer fee, player agrees to reduce his salary, no loan fee, just a simple loan. He comes for 6 months, you pay a part of his salary, and he leaves. I think that's pretty low risk, right? It's pretty low risk. And if he works out, if he plays at his 100%, that's low risk, high reward, because you just paid just a portion of a salary of a player that can come and change things for you. Like Rashford has what it takes to be a complete game changer. He's that kind of player that when he's at his best, he can come onto the field and just change the game for you. If you're losing, he can win it for you. Or if you're drawing, he can win it for you. Or if you're winning, he can seal it for you, right? He's that kind of player. But only if he's at 100%, right? So if he comes on loan, you only pay of his salary, no fees, nothing, and he works out, you just got the bargain of a lifetime, right? You got a freaking star level player for nothing. But if he comes and he ends up flopping, I also don't think it's a big deal because, again, he only paid a fraction of his salary. So I think it's a low risk move. Now, signing him, that's a big risk move because if he works out, great. You just spent a lot of money on someone who's worth it. But if he flops, you're stuck with a player who's not working out, or you're paying a lot of money towards the salary, or you paid a lot of money for a transfer fee. So that's why I wouldn't sign on a permanent transfer, because it's a gamble. But if it's just a 6-month loan, it's a small price to gamble, All right, let's see. Mind you says, hi, Mo, please. Do you have any idea about Thiago Alcantara? Will he join the coaching staff? He was supposed to join in January. I don't know what happened. Barcelona were in talks with him to bring him back, but everything has stopped dead in tracks. Jorge says, Nico actually going to City. I talked about Nico and City a few moments ago. I don't want to be repetitive. Taco Lover says, hello, Mo. I'm glad just tuned in. Haven't missed anything important. Also, any updates on Rashford? I updated on Rashford. So again, I don't want to be repetitive. And Julian says, hey, Mo, where are you located? New York City, my friend. Anyways, that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in, for your comments, your likes, your subscriptions, for your generous donations. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. I will see you in the next video. And as always, Visca Barça.